What's up, my GSD MFers? Here is another GSD episode. My name is Josh, and I'm going to do something, and I'm going to start doing something on every GSD episode, so get used to it. Here it comes. This episode is brought to you by the Toolbox. Yes, you've heard me say it 100 times on here before. I'm not going to have outside sponsors on here because I don't want them controlling the content. I don't want them controlling what we say and do. But how foolish of me to not promote what is available inside the tradesman experience. I thought this would be a good episode to kick off the Toolbox sponsorship because we're going to dive into skills. You've got to have skills. But it's brought to you by the Toolbox. What is the Toolbox? It is the tools and skills that you need to build a better business and better leaders. You can find the Toolbox on the website at thetradesmanexperience.com. Guys, it's $19.95 a month. That's unlimited access, unlimited users in your company. It's got over 40 training videos in there. And as a little fun addition, every GSD that I've recorded that has a video, I've also stuck in there too for easy access. Because what I've learned is these are kind of similar to the Toolbox. They're topic specific. They're me cranking out about something that I'm fired up about or I'm passionate about. So I decided, fuck it, let's put the GSDs in there as well. So it's a pretty powerful package of tools and skills. Let's dive into the conversation. I'm just finishing a book called Happy, Sexy Millionaire. Now, sidebar, one of the cool things that Katie and I do is we read books together. We have this pattern, mainly because she says I'm too black and white and have to have structure. Not wrong. But so about every other book or so, we read the same book together. And Happy, Sexy Millionaire was a book that she tabled because she picks one, I pick one, so on and so forth. Again, black and white structure. Yeah, fuck me. Okay. And the book is by Stephen Bartlett. He runs a podcast called Diary of a CEO. He has another book called Diary of a CEO. But this book, very powerful, lots of good information, talks about his story. But I heard something in this book, and this is what I love about books and podcasts. When I discover something that I've not heard before, it fires me up. I have to process it. I have to figure out how I'm going to implement this thing into my life, how it affects me, how it impacts me. And then I get even more excited about it, and I want to bring it to you. So again, I thought this would be a good conversation to do so because I heard the term in his book. He calls it skill stacking. And I was driving when I was listening to this book, and he was talking about, really, he said, this is the one thing that set me apart in my company and what made me most successful. And he said it was skill stacking. Now, as I'm driving and I'm listening and I'm going, you son of a bitch. Because he talks about the skill of communication. He talks about the skill of marketing. He talks about the skill of business. And the whole time I'm cussing at myself because I'm reflecting on my entire career as a tradesman and my entire career as a technician. And in that moment, I realized, recognized, discovered that I have been and always have been so singular in developing my skill. And when I heard him use the word skill stacking, I mean, you might as well hit me in the fucking face with a sledgehammer that had skill stacking written on the head of it. It's just, I was like, gosh, damn. What a limiting factor in growth and development when you become singular in your skill set. So as I pulled away from myself and started looking at my previous business, my current business, the companies that I work with and coach, the leaders that I coach, this application of singular skill set started coming up everywhere. Because I know as a technician and as a tradesman, I was always so focused on one thing that would develop and create my identity. And when I was in the HVAC industry, that was being the best technician, the best service technician, being able to diagnose and troubleshoot, being so focused on the skill set of troubleshooting, which encompasses a lot, understanding everything from sequence to operation to differentials to all the fun, cool tech shit that comes into play as an HVAC contractor. But I became so focused, so singular in developing this one skill set, because that's what I built my identity around, and it's what I built my reputation around. When I got into business, my focus shifted from being the best technician to being the best leader. And similar to being the best, or I was definitely not the best, but being a successful service technician, being a successful leader encompasses, several things, but the identity I was building was singular to leadership. I was developing that skill. Wasn't developing marketing, I was developing sales a little bit, but again, as I'm driving down the road and listening to this, cussing at myself out loud and recognizing how limiting this has been for me my entire fucking life, and then to bring this all the way to the surface of current day, I recognized that from the outside looking in, the perception that I have built, the identity that I have built with this company is singular to leadership. Now, those of you that I have coached and are coaching know that when we start getting into business, it's multifaceted. There are many layers, and we develop your skill set in many different areas. But you would know that because I don't talk about communication. I don't talk about how to build a culture. I don't talk about how to improve sales. I don't talk about 4 tiers of marketing. I don't talk about getting control of your numbers and understanding your break even, your survival rate. I don't talk about those things a lot on this particular platform outside of conversation and passing, because I've been very singular in my skill development and what I've been marketing outside. So I've discovered through that, just listening to that book, reflecting, digesting it, the absolute fucking powerhouse that you can be by skill stacking. Or as I would say in my terminology, the monster that you can become by skill stacking. And if you really peel back the layers, a lot of us, especially in the skilled trades or in sales or in business, our identity is tied to really one thing, like one singular thing. And you have to understand something about skill stacking is you don't have to be an A+ in all areas. I think that's something that our school system tries to drive home, is that you have to be an A+ across the board to be successful. You don't have to be an A+ leader and an A+ marketer, but you need to have a B or a C+ in marketing. You don't have to be the best leader and also have an A+ in sales. Now, if you're going to have an A+ in sales, you know that you're going to have an A+ in communication. But I'm going to encourage you to list out 4 or 5 things that surround your singular skill set, that surround the one thing that you're good at, and go, what else do I need to learn that's going to complement and elevate my current situation, my current state, my current business, my current position, my current ability, open up new opportunities for me. Because communication is a skill. Active listening is a skill. Being able to articulate yourself is a skill. Emotional discipline is a skill. Discipline itself is a skill. Leadership is a skill. Sales is a skill. Marketing is a skill. Branding is a skill. Building a culture is a skill. Hiring and firing is a skill. These are not natural traits that we are born with. I think people are born with traits that often complement certain things more than other people. But just because you have an outgoing personality doesn't mean that you're already amazing at sales. So look at what you can do. Look at the skills that you need to stack up that's going to help you become more successful, that's going to help you do these things. If you are singular in leadership, then develop 4 or 5 other things that's going to elevate that. If you are singular in sales, develop 4 or 5 things that's going to elevate that and complement that. If you're really good at the trade itself, if you're really good at HVAC, if you're really good at carpentry, if you're really good, if God forbid, I don't say welding and fabrication on this podcast, but if you're really good at those things, what are 4 or 5 other skills that you can learn that's going to complement and elevate you and make you more successful? That's what I want you to focus on. That's what I want you to think about. And I want you to develop some targets of additional skills that you need to create to become more of a motherfucking monster. Guys, till next time, get shit done.